What's up? What's up, my guys? Welcome to another show, my guys. It's College Football Talk with Jay Money and Dave Cokin, the third show of the year. Always trying to get some cash. No matter what, it's Friday games, Saturday games. We'll go through a few of them. First, what's up, Dave? What's up with you, my brother? How you been doing over there at Wager Talk?
Okay, and let's talk about the Rams and Bills for a moment because we both had kind of a similar takeaway on this game.
Mhm.
Look, clearly the Bills were better prepared for the game than the Rams, but watching the game, the one thing that struck me, Matthew Stafford's coming off surgery. His fastball isn't there. Okay, if you watch a baseball game, they tell you what the velocity is on every pitch for each pitcher. They don't show that in the NFL. But I'll guarantee you his velocity is down from where it's been. And that might be a concern for the Rams. Now, I'm not a doctor, so maybe he's going to get stronger as the season progresses, shaking off the rust and getting healthier from the surgery, or maybe not. And if it's the latter, that's going to be a problem. He just had no steam on the ball last night.
Yeah, and why are you trying to do no look passes out there as well? I can't say a couple of the picks they were tipped, but still that was a high pass too. Though you shouldn't be doing no look pass. They look ill prepared. I don't think it was on McVay. They really only had one receiver to throw it to in Cup. You see what I'm saying? The O line was horrible. He was basically running for his life the whole time, but if you did your research, you knew this. They lost plenty of pieces, new offensive coordinator and defensive coordinator. So yeah, we cashed out on those bills last night, man. But let's get to some games today, my guys. Obviously, we'll talk more. There'll definitely be more NFL shows every single day. We're even going to talk a few games today as well. But let's talk about a couple of games tonight while we got our guy DC with us, sports betting legend, as I say, Dave Cokin here. But Friday night's game here, we got Louisville getting 6 points. Got smacked up versus Louisville last week. Central Florida blew out a HBCU team, so we're not necessarily sure how good they are. But this is somewhat a revenge spot. They did get their butts kicked in Louisville last year, but I'm just not so sure. Obviously, different Central Florida team have a total sitting at 61 to have here, Dave. Everybody's telling me that I should go bet UCF. It's easy money. What do you think about this one?
Here's the problem. Everybody saw how bad Louisville was last week.
Mm-hmm.
And you've got the revenge situation. I mean, it looks really easy to take UCF here. I tend to shy away from games like that. This line's higher than it would have been if you made this line prior to last week's action. UCF's maybe 3. So the line's inflated. I think UCF can take them down. Louisville looks like a team that's kind of lost right now, but I'm not going to bet where there's the value's been sucked out of the line. And I just don't like being – it doesn't mean it's not going to get there, but I don't like being on the same side as everybody, quote unquote. And everybody likes UCF tonight.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. It could be easy money, guys. Like I
Maybe.
always say, I don't shy away from it. I'll be honest, I don't like taking the games that's literally like I don't think I've heard one. I mean, I talk to a lot of people. There's not one. I mean, a few of them contrarians, but it's not many people that like Louisville tonight. And those are just in football in general. Those are the games where it's usually final score. You know what I'm saying? You might see some that nobody really expected. So I'm not trying to talk anyone out of the play. A lot of my guys are on Central Florida. They got them in moneyline parlay, like a 2-team moneyline parlay and stuff like that. So I hope you guys cash. It's just something I stayed off of. I understand the thinking with Central Florida. They are at the house. Louisville did look terrible last week as well. So it'd be interesting to see if they can bounce back or they continue to be terrible. It's very possible. DC, you've got a total of 61 and a half. Do you think we see points in this game?
I don't know. I'm not much on totals. I don't.
I'm with you.
So I kind of just avoid them.
I'm with you. I guess it'll be on Central Florida's defense. We know that they can score some points. It'll be up there to their defense. Will it be leaky enough for Louisville to get to 24, 30 points? Or if they shut them down, then Central Florida get a pretty easy cover in that one. Let's go over here to the next game. We got New Mexico getting 17 points. They looked good last week. Boise State did not. Here we have a situation where the team that looked terrible is laying 17 points and on the road here with a total of 44. This one, maybe they're not expecting a whole lot of scoring here. You have a high favorite with the low total here, DC. How do you think this game's going to go?
I think New Mexico's got a shot to compete here. I've always been a Rocky Long fan. He's a great defensive mind. And I expect the Lobos to be not great, but okay defensively. The offense, we'll wait and see. But they do run pretty much a hybrid option offense. And Boise, not that much time to prepare for the game. Boise blew this team off the field last year. I think it was 37-0. They didn't look good last week, and they don't know who their quarterback is at this point. I'm not a big fan of backing teams that have a quarterback controversy.
Mhm.
So I think New Mexico's got a chance to hang around tonight. I don't think they can pull the upset, but they don't need to at plus 17.
Yeah, that's a good point. And home underdog as well. I'll watch this game. I'll try to learn some stuff with this one. The point spread does seem a tad high. I can't say initially I was thinking that Boise State could bounce back, but you got to figure some stuff out before I can lay 17
Well,
with you on the road. In theory, bounce back spot, but maybe New Mexico, I mean, is more improved. We know that I believe they got him loan last year, right? So this is
yeah,
his second year here. So he's trying to turn the program around. These are the type of games where he's, you know what I'm saying, you need to be competitive here. So I like the look here, Dave. Like I said, I didn't bet the game here. I'll watch this one closely to learn more really about both teams, in my opinion. You had anything
if the
else?
Lobos don't turn it over, they should be in the game.
That's a good point. That's a good point there, man. We'll see what's up with this Boise State team, Dave. You and I both thought that they had a better chance last week, and they just,
Yeah,
I mean, I'm looking at I'm like, what the hell is going on? Then they're from the score, and you can't even get that shit. Oh man, it's really pissing me off, man. You know,
I have my doubts about this coaching staff. They
yeah,
weren't
I'm
ready.
with you
They were not ready last week.
at all, man. How are you not ready with all the time to prepare? Yeah, that's a bad sign right there. That happened with me with the Nets first game of the season last year, the Bucks, and the coach staff just saying, "Oh, we weren't ready." What? Yeah, it's a sign of a bad coach, man. But Dave, let's talk about. There's a game that I like here on Saturday. Me and my guys liking this one. North Carolina with the leaky defense, they're laying 7.5 points here on the road, have somewhat of a look ahead spot as well, a kind of sort of like a sandwich spot. I mean, some people don't really believe in sandwich spots if you take every game serious, but football, they're going to look ahead to some of the bigger teams. North Carolina has Notre Dame on deck. Well, they'll have like a bye week or something. They have Notre Dame on deck the 24th, but still, their defense, I don't trust it. Like in Georgia State here, plus the 7.5, Dave. Could you talk me off this one?
No, I'm not going to try and talk you off it. I don't know that I'm getting as much as I wanted with Georgia State, but they're an improving program, and this is a big game for them.
Mm-hmm.
It's bigger for them than it is to North Carolina. And, North Carolina could be a little drained coming out of that insane game last week.
Mm-hmm.
Now, they've got a good offense, but can they stop anybody? And Georgia State, their job is to just contain North Carolina to some extent and shorten the game. If they can do that, they'll have a chance at the upset.
Yeah, and with that total of 64.5, it's tough to. I feel like Georgia State would more lean to the under because they're running team, so they want to run the clock. Keep that's the whole game plan. Keep North Carolina's offense off of the field, and the way their defense is looking, in my opinion, I feel like they can damn near convert over 60-70% of their third downs the way North Carolina, and just the angle of minds, I kind of like to fade the teams that's coming off those overtime games are super high scoring. So I'd be looking towards, I don't think it was overtime, but it was pretty close. It was a crazy fourth quarter. What, they give up 40 points in the, how do you do that, man?
It's not easy.
Yeah, I like Georgia State in that one plus the 7.5. To be honest with you, I wouldn't be surprised if they won the game outright. Just coming off a game versus South Carolina, now they're going up against North Carolina, man. Both Carolina, maybe they face East Carolina next week. No, I'm just messing with you guys, but I do like Georgia State plus the 7.5 in that one, and I wouldn't be a bit surprised to see they win that game straight up. Let's go over here to the streets of Pittsburgh here, Dave. We got the lower ranked team in theory laying 6 points on the road versus Pittsburgh. They didn't look too good versus West Virginia, in my opinion. We were looking up to some people to get the tie, the push, but Pittsburgh probably should have lost that game, Dave. What do you think about this one?
The fact they won it that's good for Pittsburgh because they came out, you don't play well, but you get out of it escape with a win.
Mm-hmm.
That's a positive. But the fact is they look bad on national TV. Tennessee went out and they play faster than anybody in the country. I mean, they have a warp speed offense. and Tennessee's a really popular play this week. The lines, this is like the Central Florida game. The line is way off where it would have been 2 weeks ago. So I don't want to play Tennessee, but it does worry me how bad Pittsburgh got manhandled in the trenches last week by West Virginia. I thought that was an area that Pittsburgh would win that battle. They didn't, and they were lucky to pull out the game. Well, they're going to have to play better in the trenches against this team because Josh Heupel's got this Tennessee program in the right direction. So I'm not going to bet it, but I don't want Pittsburgh here. I can tell you that.
Yeah, and this line opened up at originally at 4.5, bet up to 6. There's actually a 7 out there at WinBet. So there's a 7, 1, 6.5. Other than that, basically 6s across the board, guys. I always say, I'll mention again, looking at the Wager Talk odds screen right now, comparing lines from 8 or 9 different books, 8 different books, guys. Some sharp, some square, but still, you can use that as well with the sharpened square books, guys. So it's free. Wager Talk odds screen right now, comparing the lines. Make sure you're getting the best of the line when you're betting, guys. It's key over the long term of betting. That's a good point there, Dave. They got pushed around like that by West Virginia. I like to call them Westy V. I don't know why, but if they got pushed around that one, maybe this is why the money's coming on Tennessee here. So maybe lean towards Tennessee. And I hadn't bet the game. Dave, let's go over here to the streets of Wisconsin. Whiskey. I don't drink whiskey, but we're here. Whiskey lands 17 points here versus Washington State. Actually 17.5. It's a few 17.5s out there. So if you like Washington State, get that hook.
I lean Washington State. I'm not going to get to the window with it, but they look like they're going to be decent against the run. And if you can just contain the Wisconsin running game, well, Graham Mertz isn't going to win any games for Wisconsin. They want to put him in as low risk situations as possible. So they're going to be a typical Wisconsin, run the ball, and pass only when you need to. That's not the type of team that I'm comfortable laying big points with. I think Washington State's going to give them a battle here. I don't think they can win, but 17, yeah. I mean, again, I didn't bet it, but I certainly considered Washington State plus the points.
Yeah, I like Washington State here plus the points. There are some people that think that Mertz is going to be throwing the ball around now just off one game. That obviously they smacked up Illinois State 38-0. Covered that one. They were laying 36.5. So there are some people I know. So I was talking to Rob Vino, Dave, and he was like, maybe Mertz be passing the ball around. But I'm right there with you. If you're a heavy run game and Washington State can I think they can keep this one within 10 points. In my opinion, I think they keep this one to possibly like a 1 or 2 score game. So I think Washington State plus the 17.5, I think it's worth a little sprinkle, my guys. Because Washington State is supposed to be very improved this year, aren't they? Every year it seems like they're getting a little better and better.
I don't know if they're improved. I think that they're just competitive. They are what they are. If Mertz is throwing the ball a lot, that would make me happy if I'm a Wazoo better because he can make mistakes.
Yeah, that makes sense. They didn't look too good last week. You think that I kind of look at them as kind of just going vanilla versus Idaho. Just get out here with a win. They were laying 28 points, only won by 7 points as well. So that'll lead a lot of people to taking Wisconsin just on that. Oh, they play Idaho. They look trash. They're probably keeping things closer to the vest for this. It's probably a look ahead spot.
And they have to play better than they did last week.
That's facts right there.
But let's just assume they were preparing more for Wisconsin than they were for Idaho.
Yeah, that makes sense. My guy Jerry in the chat said, y'all must ain't watch Louisville last week.
Here's the thing. This is a good comment because I want to focus on this. Don't overvalue one game. This is a mistake bettors make all the time. They only remember the last thing they saw. And I know Louisville was not good at all last week, but it's just one game. And to me, you don't draw a conclusion out of one game.
That's fact. I'm glad you said it, Dave. There's people that literally wait just till week 2 or week 3, NFL and college, just on the overreactions alone. It's definitely going to be built into the line as well. That's exactly what it doesn't mean that sometimes it's going to cash.
Oh, sure.
But if you really want to get sharp, you kind of have to kind of get away from just looking, one game, this is how the team is now. Don't get twisted. Louisville was ass last year as well. So I mean, I didn't talk anybody out there, but
and their
just
coach,
a general idea. I get what you're saying, Dave.
Their coach might be in trouble. If they continue to stumble, he might not be there for the end of the season.
That's facts right there. Yeah, sometimes it could be on coaching as well, man. So let's see what happens in this one. But the message there was just don't take one game and take literally nail that thought process for that team or whatever. Things can change from week to week. Some teams play up to their competition, some teams play down, guys. So you kind of have to come into this with an even thought process. It's the only thing that we want to say, my brothers. Let's get over here to the streets of little backyard brawl. We have Iowa laying 3.5 versus Iowa State. Man, this seems like a easy under game. I've heard there's going to be weather issues as well. The total has since come down to around 39.5 for 40 here. Iowa, really great defense. Offense, not so much here. What do you? Iowa State has lost I believe 6 straight to Iowa. They basically get owned by them every year. Even when last year they had a really good team, ranked team, still lost 27-17. Dave, I know you're not a total better, but just looking at the way Iowa plays, would you agree this seems like an underplay? Iowa's just one of those under type of teams.
Well, they play the most boring offense in the country, and that's not a joke. I mean, they rely strictly on their defense. There's no innovation on the offense at all, and that to me is why Iowa is always good but not great, because they're stuck in the 20th century as far as their offense is concerned. But their defense is spectacular, and I don't know how Iowa State's going to be able to move the ball on them here. And let's face it, you mentioned it already. Iowa's beaten them 6 straight times. They've covered 5 of those 6. It's a good home field. The number's short. I would only play Iowa here. I know it's tough to do that with a team that kicked 1 field goal and got 2 safeties last week against an FCS team. But they've just got, to me, an advantage in the trenches. And if they can put a couple of touchdowns up, that might be all it takes for Iowa to win this game and cover in the process.
Yep, or safeties, right? They scored 7 points. They got a field goal and 2 saves. When I saw the game, it was 2-0. I'm like, what the hell? And then they got another one as well. So it looks like they scored a touchdown. But hey, 7-3 win. That's an Iowa type of game there. They'll take that every single day of the week there. Let's see, real quick. So they're talking about this Alabama, Texas, real quick, Dave. If you want to talk about it real quick, everybody's going to be taking Bama here. That he's going up against one of his old coordinators, Sarkisian. Does Saban does what he do, or can the Texas Longhorns surprise everyone and try to keep this game close?
I wouldn't be surprised if Texas stays within 3 touchdowns. I don't like games like this because I don't like betting against Alabama. The team's a monster. But the odds makers have really gotten involved in this one because the line is really high. I mean, the right price of this game is probably about 16 or 17. So you're going to pay a premium if you want to bet Alabama. I'm not recommending against it, but to me, this was a game I skipped by immediately because the line's just too high.
Yeah, and I know that the bookmakers, so Alabama cashed them there every time in the first half last year. You see the bookmakers kind of sort of just know that doesn't mean that you're not going to cash, guys. I want to make that clear, but you got to understand that you are paying a premium as well. Last year, I mean, now they're starting to get up to 12.5. I mean, hell, it might even be up to 13.5 now. You're having to pay a premium with the Alabama first half. Books will adjust as well. They're not going to get killed forever on some guys. So it doesn't mean it's not going to cash. It's really just it's for the pro style people that's thinking, hey, they're trying to win over a long term. So I'm saying just one game, it'll probably work, but just long term, guys. We're really trying to teach you guys some stuff. Dave, a couple more games. Let me see. I know we're going to talk about some NFL. I had like Texas Tech, Houston, or Florida, Kentucky. You want to talk about either one of those, or you want to talk about some NFL?
I think Texas Tech. I don't think a drop of a quarterback is that severe. So I think I lean the Red Raiders there. Not a bet for me. Florida and Kentucky. That'll be one of the best games on the Saturday card. I think Kentucky gives them a real good game because you can throw on Florida, and that's what Kentucky wants to do. Florida's secondary looks to be maybe the one shaky area, and I think Kentucky can exploit that. Florida maybe a little oversold after that impressive win last week, but that should really, quite frankly, should have been a loss to Utah. They should have lost that game. So I think Kentucky is live here.
Yeah, the way that I saw it, I actually thought I'm a situational better, Dave. So I was thinking that Florida was probably going to lose to no, probably. I thought they were going to lose to Utah, and then this was probably the bounce back game. But now it's flipped. Now they're probably too high on themselves. Everybody's patting their backs. You see what I'm saying? They come off a big win, back-to-back home games. Now Kentucky probably will catch them overlook. Because the way I was looking at it, Florida be coming off a loss and pissed off here, taking out some frustration. But now it's the exact opposite. Everyone's on Florida overreacting as well, because remember, it was supposed to be a little bit of a take them time to figure things out to at least start the season. So maybe this could be the game. And they are going up against some big dogs now. Kentucky picking on people their own size in the SEC over there. So it might not be a bad contrarian look there, Dave. And on that Houston game, Dana Holmes, I mean, the guy screws me over every single time. I don't think I'll ever bet with this guy ever. I mean, I know when he was at wasn't he at West Virginia over there? Wasn't it so when he was at West Virginia, he was the guy covering tickets all over the place. With Houston, I don't know. I'm just gonna leave it at that, man. Let's talk about some NFL.
It's also a tough spot. I mean, that was a crazy game with UTC and Antonio, and they got to bounce right back. Scheduling favors Texas Tech.
Yeah, it could be some real merit as well to favor to kind of not necessarily every time, but fading some of those teams coming off those overtime games, guys. There's extra plays, extra time out there, and in Texas as well. I mean, they're probably used to it, but I don't know, man. They are making a big deal about the quarterback being out, though. That's why
I think it's overrated. I'm not that big on him anyway. Well, no, I mean I don't think he's bad, but he's not a world beater.
Right, that's facts right there. Let's go. Let's talk about some NFL now, my guys. Let's talk about some NFL. Let's talk about one of these games that I think we're both liking here, man. We got the Packers versus the Vikings. People saying, hey, Aaron Rodgers owns the Vikings, man. The line's pretty short, my guys, and he lost his best receiver by far. I mean, third down, 3rd and 5, 6. I don't care what, 3rd and 10. They're throwing to Devontae Adams, and he's probably going to convert it every time. So that's a huge loss for them as well. We've heard Rodgers getting on his receiving core. It's not necessarily a big fan of him, and he's kind of already making excuses before the game. If we do lose this game, it's not to be, you know what I'm saying? Who does that? Dave, like the Vikings here, man.
I do too. You know, obviously there's no such thing as a must win in game one, but I think this game is probably a really huge game for the Vikings because it is the divisional opponent. Obviously, it's a 2-team race in that division. The Lions are not going to contend. The Bears are not going to. The Bears are definitely not going to contend. The Vikings need to at some point step up and beat this team. Now, I think Green Bay is still the better football team. So I think over the course of 17 games, Green Bay is going to win the division. But I do think the Vikings are a playoff caliber team. I made the game dead even. So I'm getting a little bit of value at the Vikings. And I think they're completely focused in on this game. So I'm going to go to Minnesota to pull out a close game. Should be one of the best games. I mean, the schedule is loaded. There's some great games out there this weekend. This is going to be one of the best of them. I'm going to take the Vikings plus the 1.5.
I already did. I'm with it opened at 2.5, sits down to 1.5. I believe that's sharp money, whether you care about it or not. People, I still think that there's some pro type bets coming in on the Vikings because I still think there's going to be a ton of public people on the Packers, right? So it's one of those where the public side is going the other side. You don't think so?
No, because it's become pretty well known that these divisional dogs in week one, they win at a tremendous rate. And that's one of the benefits of, for instance, being on Twitter is you can get lots of really good information as far as trends and things like that are concerned. And I think the fact that a lot of people read that stuff and know that this is a league where square money is not really the way you want to go. I think there's going to be plenty of money on the Vikings here.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. And Dave, I really think it will be, but we gotta understand, bro. Like with Aaron Rodgers over there, he's always going to be the public darling, whether he lost a receiver or
Well, good
not.
reason. I mean, he's one of the all-time greats.
Yeah, he's a big dog. He is. He getting up there in age, man, like Brady,
Yeah.
but people they don't even think about age. It's like Rodgers' money. He owns the Vikings. That's what everybody tell me. He owns the Vikings. All right. Well,
Look,
maybe he gets the second game. This first one going to Minnesota, man. Maybe he bounced back at home when they figure things out and he gets more camaraderie with his receivers as well.
Yeah, let's be clear. I'm not going to be shocked if Green Bay wins the game.
That's facts. It's definitely.
So I mean, any NFL game's a gamble. It's a tough league, but I did side with the Vikings here, and we'll see how it plays out. Some quarterbacks get old. Others just keep on going. Rodgers is in that category with Brady. He just doesn't. There doesn't seem to be any drop off. Whereas we saw he's retired now, but we saw a quarterback get really old last year, and that was Big Ben.
Mm-hmm.
He looked like he was 100 last year.
That's face.
That's part of the reason I think the Steelers are very live against the Bengals here.
Oh, because you want to talk? Let's talk about it.
Well, what I'm hearing is, it's Trubisky. I don't know if there's anybody, Trubisky or the rookie, would be much of a drop off from Roethlisberger at this point. The only thing he could throw last year was screen passes. He couldn't get the ball downfield. His arm strength was gone. So to me, there's really no decline at quarterback. I think the skill position players at Pittsburgh are improved. Their defense is solid. Burrow hasn't taken a snap because he's coming back from injury. And you've got, if you want to talk trends, the Super Bowl loser in game 1 has been an absolute train wreck against the spread. So give me the Steelers plus 6.5. I don't think it's getting to 7, so I took the 6.5.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I like them Steelo as well. Inside info about Burrow. I told him about it yesterday as well. Same thing with Stafford, Burrow. It was one more that's coming off it's coming off all-season surgery. I'll think about it, but I know Stafford and Burrow for sure. I just don't think they'll be locked in, or they'll be, quarterback, especially passing or whatever. You got to be it's one of those that you got to be locked in. You need some preseason games. You need some workouts. So. And Burrow, he's been taking time to get back healthy. He's gonna play, but I don't think that he's 100%. And I like the angle even more of taking the double revenge from the previous year where they lost both times within the division as well. With Tomlin, he's going to remember that, okay, y'all went to the Super Bowl last year. All right, it's my time to show y'all that we're still the big dogs over here. I wouldn't be surprised if Steelers win the game, my guys. And I do think that a lot of people will be on the Bengals as well. It's taking them, they were really good last year. Burrow's in, but I think it's kind of the same thing as Stafford. I don't think he's going to be 100%. I don't think he's going to be on point as you need to be. They pass the ball a ton, right? So he has to be on point. And the Steelers got a pretty good defense as well, regardless, even if he was 100%.
Don't the work cut out for them. I mean, Cincinnati's wide receiver, why am I blanking on his name? That kid might be the best player in the league.
Which one? They got Higgins over there, and the other one, Chase, Jamar Chase. Yeah, no, God's a baller.
He is amazing.
Got to give him the ball though, right? What if Burrow's not 100%?
They're not going to shut that kid down. I don't. If you give me a pick of any receiver in the league, he's my guy.
Over Adams and Hopkins, if he wasn't taking PEDs,
because his best is still to come.
That's facts.
I mean, he's still really young. Cooper Kupp's certainly a great receiver. Adams is sensational, but this kid, Chase, he is special. I think we're looking at the beginnings of a Hall of Fame career.
Yeah, that's a good point. I don't know. I like CD Lamb too, man. I like Lamb. I think Lamb got a future on him, man. One more game here, Dave. Let's talk about one more game real quick. We got the Raiders versus the Chargers. I hadn't seen many people liking the Chargers here, guys, but I do have an angle on this one that I like. It's called playoff revenge, man. A team kicks you out of the playoffs or keeps you from going to the playoffs. You're going to remember that all summer. You're doing your workouts, all this. You're thinking about that team that kept you from getting to your journey. And Herbert, I even heard him. I already know that they're thinking this, but I heard it come out of Herbert's mouth as well. He's been thinking about the facing the Raiders for 6 months now. They can't wait for this game. I think they'll be well prepared as well. It was a close game, 35-32. They lost. I think they can hang with the Raiders. I know they got Devontae Adams and all that, but I like the Chargers in this. I did take a -3, -115, but Chargers by a touchdown. I still like them at 3.5. Dave, could you talk me off?
No, they never should have lost that game. the coaching edge is on the Raiders side. I'm just not impressed with Staley at all. But I think the Chargers have the talent. The one worry I'd have is they're being given a home field advantage, and I don't know that there is one. Because this crowd is probably going to be more Raiders than Chargers. The Chargers are the second team in LA.
Mm-hmm.
If it's a 2-family house, they're living on the second floor. Okay, that worries me. But I think the Chargers, this division is great. Since they went to the eight division 4-team format, this is the best division I've ever seen. Because the last place team is a playoff caliber team. Kansas City's always loaded. The Broncos bringing in Russell Wilson is a huge upgrade.
Mm-hmm.
The Chargers probably should have been a playoff team last year. And the Raiders made the playoffs in spite of just an incredible number of distractions during the season. The Gruden thing, the Ruggs incident. These are things that could fracture a team. And they still made the playoffs, which is pretty impressive. So I don't think I want to lay the points here, but I do think the Chargers are a little better football team. So I'll stay out of it. I think this one's going to be close to the number. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. It could come down to it. I'll take Chargers by 4 in this one, but I do think they win by more than a touchdown. I think they'll be ready for this game. Raiders, probably I'm sure there's a lot of hype around the team, but I don't think they get it. I don't think they get the win here on this first game of the season. On through the season, I've got Raiders socks. So on the offseason, but I got the Charger size as well. But there's going to be spots, and I'm backing the Raiders. I can guarantee you that. It's not week 1, though. I think Justin Herbert is one of the new faces of the NFL. They got playoff revenge. That holds a ton of weight for me, especially with them got this game circled. I'll take my chances.
These teams are going to beat the crap out of each other in divisional play this year. These are going to be great games. It really is. I'm not overstating it. This is the best 4-team division I've ever seen. The last place team in the division would be good enough to win a couple of divisions. If you say, for instance, on my power ratings, I have the Raiders in last in the division. It's not by much. But if the Raiders, even as a last place team, they're a potential playoff team. So it's going to be fun to watch these teams beat the hell out of each other. These are going to be great games between the Chiefs, Broncos, Chargers, and Raiders.
Hey, and Dave has seen plenty of and he's seen plenty of divisions, plenty of football through his time as well. So he says it's one of the best. I believe that as well.
I think it is the best.
Yeah, we know it's loaded, man. It's absolutely loaded. I like what Russell Wilson did over there as well. I can't wait for this NFL season, man. We got an extra week as well, one less week of preseason. I can't wait, Dave. Hopefully we can talk some NFL the whole year, man. I love talking games with you. The chat, loving the collaboration as well. Let's get out of here, my guy. Dave, let them know how you've been doing. What do you have going up there at Wager Talk? If you didn't know, I'm pretty sure the promo code is still working. Cokin 10, it's $10 off any package over there. He does all sports, but college football, he's the top dog over there at Wager Talk. Let them know what you got going and any picks or best bets you'd like to give out to the people.
I have 2 free plays up, and all my free plays are actually selections. They're not just added opinions. So I've got 2 free play videos that you can check out. Follow me on Twitter at Dave Cokin, like it says right there, and you can find those easy enough. 4 college games overall, but I think I'm going to add a 5th because I'm at the point where there's another game I like that I'm going to add. And 4 NFL plays. They're not big. They're small plays. Week 1, I'm not going to go nuts. But a lot of action out there. We'll have some baseball. No golf right now, but then I'm be picking up when they resume action on the PGA Tour. Is it next week or the week after? I forget, but it's soon.
This guy does golf too, man. What are we doing here, man?
Golf's been really good for me.
I heard about you.
Really good.
I heard about you hitting them big plus money winners, Dave. I know about you, man. I know about you. I'm trying to tell the people, y'all better go get the all access package over there. It's going to be for every play that he posts out, man. Let me just put it this way. You're going to come up, man. Let's put it that way. I don't know many people that's giving out golf plays, but Dave does everything, man. He's a college expert.
Expert not well. Everything, but I stay away from the sports I don't know. That's why I don't do NBA. I'm just not I'll follow your stuff on NBA. I'll let you do the work for me.
Hey, I got you. I got you, Dave. So I can seriously. I don't mind calling myself an expert in the NBA. I think
Uh,
people in the chat, I think
I,
they'll go with
I
that as
saw.
well.
Listen, I saw the record last year in the playoffs. That was pretty amazing. I
The
mean,
best day, the best day. 47-14, my guys.
unbelievable.
This is the best days, man, of my life, man. For real, my guys. More days to come. But yeah, let's get out of here, guys. Just real quick, I'll let you know what I'm liking, what I took. So I'll give you 4 plays. I'll give you 4 plays in each one. College is what I'm taking, man. We're taking Georgia State. I'm taking UAB, taking Eastern Michigan plus 11.5. And then I'm gonna go with Kansas State, man, minus the 7.5. That's the smallest one though. So from the top to the bottom, UAB, Georgia State, Eastern Michigan, and then Kansas State, and then in NFL, we cashed the Bills yesterday. That was the top one. Then Steelers plus 6.5, Vikings on the money line, and Chargers minus the 3. My guys, more plays coming tomorrow. I'm live tomorrow before the game start. I'm live on Sunday as well before the game start, man. So y'all hit that notification bell. You never miss a show. Go follow Dave right now on Twitter at Dave Cokin, and go check him out at Wager Talk as well, my guys. He has free plays up. He has free plays up every single week as well, man. So y'all go check us out. Look at Wager Talk odds screen as well, man. We appreciate everybody for tuning in. We appreciate your time. As always, it's us against the bookies. Let's get some cash, my guys. We're out.